Earlier this year, I attended a memorial service for my beloved cousin, Patricia White. Pat wasn't just family. She shared a deep and meaningful bond with my late mother, Rosie, whose memory I hold dear, especially as this past weekend marks her birthday. My ebook, A DJ Saved My Life, is dedicated to my mom, Rosie, who continues to inspire me every day. At this poignant gathering, I had the chance to meet an incredible woman who has since become a friend and a source of inspiration, Traci Brooks. Traci is not only an accomplished actress, but also a dedicated insurance professional. You might recognize her from the award-winning Chicago-based show, The Awakening.
My name is Traci Brooks, and I played Candy on the Awakening series. When we had our reunion, oh my goodness, it was amazing. It was so surreal getting a chance to reunite with the cast again from 25 years ago. Oh my gosh, I wanted to get everyone's autograph. I was so excited. It was phenomenal. It really was. Are you kidding? Well, he's the artist of The Awakening. The song. Remember the song? Of course. Everybody knows The Awakening song. He created that. When Lanier composed The Awakening song, it had such a tremendous impact. I'm thinking about when it says in there, you sacrifice your future dreams for a little pleasure. You blew it. How many millenniums are in that situation right now where they feel that they have blown it? And there's another part to that song that many people haven't even thought about. But that's the part that says, you came into this world, you're such a little girl, how you gonna pay the rent? It deals with you are baby yourself and you have a baby and now you have all these responsibilities. How many times do millennials especially go through that? So yes, that song has had tremendous influence and impact, but there's a redeeming factor because as you're listening to the song and even seeing the movie, The Awakening, it helps you to realize God gives us a second chance.
Meeting Traci at my cousin Pat's memorial service felt like a new connection blossoming from a place of deep family ties. Her story is one that I'm eager to share with you on today. And this episode is a celebration of connections, past, present, and future. And I'm honored to bring it to you. I'm Val the Voice Johnson, and this is the Interludes Podcast. The Interludes Podcast,
a Pure Lighthouse Production. This episode is brought to you by
A DJ Saved My Life. It's the new ebook from yours truly, Val the Voice Johnson. It's a heartfelt tribute to the healing power of music and the therapeutic potential of podcasting with all the ABCs of podcasting rolled into one. Visit our store at purelighthouse.media.net for more information.
And now, all the way from the south side of Chicago, give it up for your host, Val the Voice Johnson.
Hey everyone, this is Val the Voice Johnson, and this is another edition of the Interludes Podcast. I'm always excited when I'm able to have a conversation about what goes viral on TikTok. And there's a clip that's going around from a show that was produced here in Chicago called The Awakening. And we have one of the principal actors from that Emmy Award-winning show with us, who is now into doing podcasting as well as teaching people about life insurance. But I want to welcome everyone, Traci Brooks. Welcome. How are you?
I'm well, Val. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
I know. We have family in common. That's we had a recent incident that happened that brought us together. And when I was telling everyone what I do professionally, she said, "Hey, I want to find out more about what you do." But what I was fascinated with was the TikTok video that went viral. And it's a scene from the show The Awakening. Now, this was a locally produced show that was created by Apostle Clifford E. Turner. Tell me about how you got involved with The Awakening and what awakened the actress spirit in you, Traci.
Well, in 1991, I had attended the church. I started in 1989 when I came to Liberty Full Gospel Church and World Outreach Ministries. And he started a drama ministry in 1991. And I have to tell you, before that, even when I was a teenager, I used to pray to God. And I used to say this. I used to say, God, if there was ever a gospel theater, I would love to be a part of that. I used to say those words because I had never seen one. So fast forward, 1991 comes around, and I was invited by my sister to come to Liberty Temple at the time. And lo and behold, when Apostle, he actually started a drama ministry. And guess what it was called?
What?
Gospel Theater.
Ah.
I was like, oh. So he had little sketches, just little sketches here and there. This was even before The Awakening. And then he got the revelation, let's just do a skit. And he called it The Awakening. And he asked me, he gave everyone kind of names. And I was named after his sister on the show, Candy. If you're hearing this, Candace, hello. So it was really just to be like a one sketch, a one and done. But then because he gave a cliffhanger, then people started calling in. Can we have another one? What's going to happen? And of course, Tiffany Cole, which is Marquita Perry, she was the star of the show. Then my character came on about in episode 3. And I was kind of like the go-between between she and the villain, Poochie. Yeah. Who was fine and suave and debonair and all of that. So to answer your question, how did my acting come about? You know what? I think it had always been there, because even in grade school and high school, I loved being part of the theater, part of drama. Right. That was something that I loved to do. And so when I became part of Liberty and he started the drama ministry, and it was all just church members. You know, very few of us had acting ability. There were few. Tiffany, of course, had acting ability. I had some, but I never thought it was all that great. But it wasn't about that. He always reminded us, this is ministry. You know, it's not about you, it's about Jesus. And I told Jesus, I made a promise to God then, and it still holds today. I said, God, whatever happens in this show, I will never, ever steal your glory, ever. And I've kept to that, and he's trusted me with that. So whenever someone tries to, make me think I'm bigger than I always point to the Lord, because it's all about ministry and what that show did for people and how it grew them away from the vices and closer to Christ.
Yeah, and I think that's important for folks to know that we're talking late 80s, early 90s in Chicago. And so just kind of the vibe that was happening back then, there was a lot of things happening with gangs. And also, unfortunately, there was a lot of shootings that happened. I think getting involved in I like to call it a ministry that unites God with drama. It seems like this was the perfect mix. When you were getting going with the awakening, when the apostle was like, okay, we're going to now make this into more than what it is. What was some of the things that you decide, okay, well, I really want to pursue acting, or it was just specifically for the church and to, number one, honor God with your talent?
It was just that. It was just specifically to honor God. You know, I wasn't really looking into, doing other things in Hollywood, because my heart's desire was to honor God with my creativity. That was it, and this was the platform that God had me in. And, I never felt led to go to LA or go to New York. And because again, it's not about me. It's about being a servant of the Lord to help the people to get where they need to be in the spiritual realm. And if it's using creativity to do it, then so be it.
What was one of your favorite episodes to create The Awakening, if you could think of one?
Oh, there were so many. Are you asking?
Because how many seasons did you all go? Let's clear that up.
Oh, geez. Well, we started in 1991 and it ran all the way to 1997,
right?
Something like that. So it was quite a while, right after the Arsenio Hall show. Yeah. So it was a lot of seasons there.
And what network did it air on here in the Chicagoland area?
Now you're kind of, let me think. It was channel 36, the Jerry Rose show.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the Jerry Rose show, but it was the Christian network. And then I want to say it was 36. I know it was channel 26. That was the WJ something. And then there was another one. So it was two of them. It was channel 26. And then the other Christian network with Jerry Rose. And that was, again, back in the 90s. That's when we had VHSs and beta. And we had to take those VHSs and take it all the way to the studio and upload it. It was just, compared to what we have to do now, is just, hit a button. It's amazing.
I know.
But to your question, yeah, one of the most significant episodes was when my character got saved. That was very significant because it spoke volumes of, what's possible and how a person's life can actually be turned around for God's glory. We could be doing the same thing all 24/7, expecting different results, and nothing is going to happen until we actually commit and make a decision, to live for the Lord. So that was significant. That was one of the episodes that, brought a lot of people to Christ, was that episode.
Now, it sounds like things were filmed and then, of course, shown on television. Did any performances were performed live in front of an audience or a congregation?
Good question. We actually did several plays and sketches. When we first started, we did one at Rikers Island, and it was called Decisions in New York. We came to New York. Yeah. We had just started filming, I believe, but we did some things in Rikers Island. We filmed in, where else did we go? Some of the high schools in the Chicago, in the city. I'm trying to think of the high school. It escapes me at the moment. I want to say, is it Roosevelt? No, not Roosevelt. I forget the name of it. But we did Decisions, and that was right before we did The Awakening. But, we've done several skits in front of live audiences, yes, based on The Awakening.
Yeah.
In fact,
In fact,
let me say this. When I used to work at National Louis downtown, and during my lunch, I would get on the Blue Line, I think it was, and go to Wells High School. Shout out to Wells. And we actually worked with Wells for an entire 6 months or so to put on mini Awakening skits with their students.
Wow.
So that was a very transitional time in their school, because it was an amazing undertaking, number one. But number two, through that, there was a young man who was in the gang. But do you know, Val, by the time we put that show on, he was so convicted, he was able to say no and walk away from the gang. It was so difficult for him. But if we had to go through all of that for 6 months and deal with all the rigmarole that we dealt with for that one young man to be saved and to come to Christ, then it was all worth it.
Man, and those are the type of stories that I know I love to hear and encouraged by. A lot of my audience is Christian, and it's always wonderful when you're able to use your talents, number one, to give glory to God, but number two, to literally act in Matthew 28, where you're literally sharing your faith and sharing the gospel among the nations, and to do that in a play. That sounds phenomenal. With it running, and I think it ran about 6 or 7 seasons, if I'm calculating right, from 91 to 97.
Right.
It's also, it caught the attention of the Emmys as well as the Stellar Awards. What was that like, and when did that happen? Mm-hmm.
You know, that actually happened. You know, when Apostle Turner, he actually came back with the Emmy Award.
Wow.
So I can't tell you all the details of that, but we were just so very proud to know that we had been recognized as such. And also to know that the Nielsen ratings, actually, we had more Nielsen ratings than the Arsenio Hall show did. We were featured on ABC News, on World News Tonight, on CNN, on some of the other news networks that were just phenomenal, just to realize that we got that kind of a recognition, and to see how many young people were buying into the message of what we brought.
And so this is the thing that I think is most remarkable, is that during this time, and then working with schools, and then also performing it in front of cameras as well as live audiences, you got a chance to really, I guess, bond with the cast. And yes. I'm assuming some of those relationships, based on, I've gone to the Facebook page of The Awakening, seems like you guys are a very close-knit cast. How often do you get a chance to talk to or meet up with the members of The Awakening cast?
Oh, that's so, you know, I just talked to Tiffany yesterday through Facebook, through, you know, just, I mean, anytime. I mean, I'll pick up the phone at any moment and just see how she's doing, or, you know, call Antonio to see what's going on, you know. And so we're still very, very close. Wesley, which is Poochie, you know, he lost his son to COVID several years ago. And so, you know, he put a post out there, and he knows that I'm praying for him, and his Awakening fans and family are praying for him, you know, in his loss. But we're still very close. At any time we can call each other, or, you know, go out to lunch or whatever. So, but yeah, we're family. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
I know. And I think what was phenomenal is that one of the clips that you were featured in was one of the ones that went viral. What was kind of the feedback that you either got from, let's say, one of your younger family members that said, "Hey, Traci, you're on TikTok," which is, for me, a much younger audience. But what was kind of the feedback of seeing you in a show that hasn't aired in well over 2 decades, and now social media has picked it up and said, "Hey, we like this"?
I was like, wow, how cool is that? That was so fun to see that. Mm-hmm. And then I attempted to do a duo. I'm still learning my technology. You know, I'm sometimes I'm not as savvy, but I tried to do a duo, you know, to say, this is me now, that was me then. But it was really cool to see that. Oh, I think I had like over 1,000, 1,800 views or something, or likes, and it was kind of creeping up there. So what I ended up doing, though, Val, was all the comments, I just started commenting. and letting them know, hey,
Still here.
you know what made, I'm still active, just commenting on their comments and letting them know, hey, this is Candy. So what did you like about the show? And what did you like about that episode and why? And they talked about the jury, Jurrrrry. You know, Candy, where my jury at?
Oh my gosh.
Lady that played my mother. Yeah.
Yes. And some of the themes, the main theme of calling people to Christ, people get into issues, you know, conflicts would happen. With what you remember best about being a part of this family, the Awakening, when you got your scripts or you got how you were going to play off each other, was it ad-libbed or script? I'm curious about that.
Great question.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how it worked. So let me give you, you're really privy to this. We would actually have our meetings on Monday nights. And if you know anything about Apostle Turner, he was so amazingly funny, such a visionary. Mm-hmm. And we wouldn't start filming or actually start talking about the script until maybe midnight. Wow. And then he would just give us the outline. You know, so it wasn't like scripted where you had to memorize lines. He would give us the outline. Okay. And then we would practice the outline and just flow with it as long as we're not overlapping with our conversation. You know, so, but yeah, God would give him things like sometimes at the last minute, this is what God gave me. This is what I need to see. Make this happen. We need to do it this way. And he would just give us the outline.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Newsflash. Val the Voice Johnson is currently one of the lead moderators on the platform The House of Creativity on Clubhouse. Join her for Motivational Mondays and Business Tips and Tricks Tuesdays every week with inspiring music, aspirational clips, and fascinating guests. Also, Val the Voice can be heard leading the THOC news team with Latino, wellness, and entertainment news that you can use to peruse your life and style today. Join us every Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the House of Creativity. To tune in or to become a guest, please visit our website, linktr.ee/Pure Light Media, and use the hashtag word THOC Live. And now, back to our show. And that sounds like improv.
Yeah,
dramatic improv. That's what was happening with you all. Wow. Mm-hmm. An outline. Yeah. I like that. And that happened for 6 or 7 years. Now, unfortunately, I just found out, and you kind of informed me, that Apostle Clifford E. Turner has gone on to be with the Lord. What do you believe is the legacy that he's left with the Awakening, and then also with creating this phenomenal local series that became well known all over the country?
Well, you know, his legacy is continuing, and I definitely want to give a shout out to his wife, Apostle Darlene Turner. She is absolutely phenomenal, and I love her with my whole heart. So she's continuing the legacy that Apostle Clifford Turner, her husband, started. And, you know, we are continuing in the fabric of what he started because everything points to Christ. So even when it comes to creativity, she's even begun a museum of all of his artifacts, the various artifacts from the 90s, from the Awakening, just different things that we've done throughout our years at Liberty. So that's just been phenomenal. But to your point, the legacy is continuing. In terms of personal creativity, all that I do is for God's glory, and it's because of what has been poured into me for 37 years at Liberty. When I came in 1989, Apostle Turner would just pour into us. And then being part of the Awakening, it was no different. One of the things that I'll always remember is no matter what character we played, Val, we prayed before we started and we prayed after the skits were done, because a lot of times, for people that were playing, whores and drug,
Dealers.
drug
Yeah.
members and dealers and things like that, those spirits can be on you if you're not careful.
Right.
So we had to make sure that we prayed those spirits off of us, so that way we could walk in the newness of light, and life, without having that spirit on us. So that's something that I will always be grateful for, is the legacy that he's left in my life. And I'll continue on even with the creativity, whether it's drama, film, and that's something that I'm still yet until this day looking to do, is making film to give glory to God. Even though it's not in this space, it's in another space. Okay. Which is the life insurance space, but I'm sure we'll talk about that a little later.
Actually, we'll talk about that right now, because we'll transition for what you are currently doing. How has working on the awakening helped breathe new life into what you're doing, which is helping teaching people about life insurance? How have those things worked together?
It actually does. When we did the awakening, I was looking at some of the clips and some of the episodes, and many of us are still going through loss, right? We're still some of us have been hit with just different things in our family, because life is going to life. So when that happens, are we prepared? For example, when Mookie in the show was paralyzed, nobody thinks who's going to pay for that, right?
Right.
I mean, did he have life insurance? Of course, that's nothing that they talk about. But what happens when your family, something happens, or someone, shoots someone in the back in your family and they get paralyzed? Are you prepared? Do you have living benefits in a life insurance policy that's going to help you to get through what your situation? Many people don't even understand what life insurance is all about. They just think that it's for when you die. But the wealthy know that it's for life. Otherwise, it would have been called death insurance, right? But it's for life. It's to put your kids through college. It's to keep a home. It's for everything. It's to help you with your where health insurance leaves off. This is where life insurance can continue. It's that OPM. It's other people's money that you can access pretty much for pennies if necessary. So it goes together, simply because I want to set the captives free. Because I love God, I want to help set them free financially as well as spiritually. See, we have the word. We go to church every week, twice a week, 3 times a week, but still so many people are still broke.
Yeah.
And they wonder, well, why? Because they've not been educated or given the tools of life insurance. How, if you Google what industry will make you a millionaire, you'll find life insurance or financial services is number one. Mm-hmm. Why? Because everything runs on insurance, Val. Everything. Right. The phone that I'm on right now, you can't get a phone without having insurance on your phone. Right? You can't move into a house without getting homeowners insurance or renter's insurance. You can't get a car without having automobile insurance. You can't get braces without insuring your braces. You can't even put your own money in the bank without it being FDIC, right? Financially insured, insuring your money. So everything runs on insurance. Why not insure your life? Why not insure your life? Every other person is either not insured or underinsured. Right. So that's why I'm bringing the two together.
And I think what's important, and because all of us have gone through COVID, is that a lot of folks were, and even as recently as this year, they weren't able to pay for the funeral because of those things they didn't have anything set up. And I think it's just important to just make sure that those things are in place. We never think about disability. We never think about being paralyzed or underemployed, whatever all of those things are. And I like how you state that those other people's money is kind of that thing with life insurance. And I'm grateful that you've transitioned into that, but definitely with, I'm grateful that you have, what do you call this? You have used your creative gifts to honor God. And now you're using other gifts to honor God with education. And if people wanted to know a little bit more about what you do and what you're going to be doing regarding filming and possibly podcasting, where would they go?
Well, they can certainly go to my Facebook page. It's under my name, Traci Brooks, and it's Traci with an I. So yes. So in the life insurance space, I'm helping people to make money, to save money, and to grow it, because we have not, our people, Black and brown people especially, have not been educated in this area. You know, we for the most part, we do not have a good blueprint when it comes to money. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, and of course, the church included in terms of, you know, saints in the church. So God has put it on my heart to actually do podcasts and to even start a school and to do film and docuseries. Because you know what? When your money gets funny and your change gets strange, and just if someone passes away, there's disagreements because they have not made time or have been educated on how to actually get life insurance and put things together, you know, for life. Let me give you a quick example, a testimonial. Well, my mom, I was a caregiver for three. I was a caregiver for my husband, who suffered a stroke 2 years after we got married. I was a caregiver for my mom, who had glaucoma. She was going blind. She fell and went completely blind. And I was also a caregiver for her adopted son, Devontae. He's 26 now. So I was a caregiver for three while I was working at a community college. Wow. So the point of that is I had to figure out a way to bring in passive income, because, you know, working part-time and taking care of three adults, that just wasn't working. Mm-hmm. So this opportunity fell in my lap, and a year later, I was able to fire my boss. I love her to pieces, but I was like, and I haven't looked back. And so now I'm able to travel with the company, and there's, you know, company paid trips and things of that nature. But the bottom line of it is educating families, because for us, and for me, it's mission over commission. When you help families and educate them and do what's right for people, they're going to appreciate that. And you're going to help them to be actually set free financially, because now they understand. My mom had CDs just sitting in a bank. They weren't doing anything. Because as you know, we don't really get anything from a bank in terms of a return. So at the time, I had a trainer who helped us to roll it over to a vehicle where you can get the upside of the market without the losses. I never even understood what that was about until I got into this industry. And I'm like, oh, that's what that means. You know, when you hear, the Dow Jones, I never understood that. But coming into this industry, it's like, oh, what is that? You know, now I'm getting it. I'm understanding it. So when we rolled her CDs over, it shot up by 8%. And unfortunately, when she passed away several years ago, or fortunately, we ended up getting a check, you know, from the vehicle that it was rolled over into. And I'm telling you, I was so grateful, because we didn't have to go to GoFundMe. We didn't have to drain the church for finances, didn't have to ask family and friends. We're able to take care of everything and have something left over. That way we could grieve without having a financial strain.
Exactly.
How many people can say that?
Not many.
You know?
Not
exactly.
many.
That's why I'm here to educate as many people as I can, whether it's through podcasts, whether it's through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, however. I'm on a mission to educate families so that they can understand, especially people of color, that they can use OPM, other people's money. Why use your own when you can use life insurance while you're still living, you know, for so many things.
Wow. Well, Traci, this has been a great a great conversation and a great education to myself as well as the rest of my listeners. If people wanted to find The Awakening, if they wanted to see all 6 seasons, where is that floating around at? Is it on Tubi? Where is it hanging out at?
It's actually on YouTube. They can go
Okay.
to The Awakening Chicago TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So they can pull it up there. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there it's up to season 7, maybe
good.
season 6. Yeah, but we did 150 episodes.
Wow.
So, it's still taking time to redigitize everything. And I would also encourage them, hey, you can go to the Awakening fan book page. I think it's Facebook page rather.
Yeah.
Donate. If the Awakening meant anything to you back in the 30 years ago, then why not still donate? You can also they can also go to Apostle Darlene C. Turner, her page, and they can donate because The Awakening is still her baby. So she's still doing some very creative things with the show, from a digital standpoint. But they can find me on Facebook, Traci Brooks. That's where I'm mostly prevalent at. And I look forward to hearing from anyone.
Wonderful, Traci. This has been great. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, Val, I thank you for having me on the show. My head is cut off here. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate your time.
As we wrap up, I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the powerful stories and insights Traci Brooks shared with us. From her impactful work on The Awakening, where the improv spirit of the show brought positive messages to life, to her current role in the insurance industry, Traci continues to make a difference. Her dedication to helping others prepare for the unexpected and ensuring their affairs are in order is a vital service, particularly for communities of color that often face these challenges without proper support. Traci's work reminds us of the importance of being prepared, not just for ourselves, but for those we leave behind. It's a message that resonates deeply with me, especially as I think about my mother Rosie and the legacy she left. Meeting Traci at the memorial service for my cousin Pat felt like another step in keeping with my mom's legacy and keeping it alive. Through connections we make, the stories we share, and the care we take in our own lives. Until next time, let's stay connected, stay inspired, and remember the legacies that live within us all. I'm Val the Voice Johnson, and this is the Interludes Podcast. Next time on the Interludes Podcast, earlier this summer, I got a chance to talk about the new ebook, A DJ Saved My Life, at the first inaugural Empowered Podcasting Conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. Becoming a featured speaker has been a dream of mine, and now I get a chance to share my fireside chat with the conference's founder and podcast coach, Mark Ronick. Next time on the Interludes Podcast. The Interludes Podcast.
A Pure Lighthouse Production. Original concept by Valerie Johnson. Original intro and outro music produced by Kendall Nesbitt.
The Interludes Podcast, a Pure Lighthouse production.
This episode is brought to you by
A DJ Saved My Life, the latest ebook by Val the Voice Johnson. The book is a heartfelt tribute to the healing power of music and the therapeutic potential of podcasting, all with the ABCs of podcasting rolled into one. Visit the website purelighthouse.media.net and order your ebook copy today.
To subscribe to our YouTube channel or join Interludes Facebook group, visit the website linktree/Pure Light Media. That's linktr.ee/Pure Light Media.